Hey guys, Sebastian here from Walgrace Vintage. Welcome to our gallery. In today's video, we'll be doing a continuation on the previous video, which talked about the huge order of Rucks and Fender custom shops that recently got to our door, and where we pick some of our favorites and kind of like show them to you guys. So what I have in my hands right now is a Fender custom shop, late 62 Strat, finished in this really nice shell pink. I believe this is the Closet Classic Relic level, which is just amazing. We're talking more about this guitar in a bit. And then the Rucks Tone Secret 1, which is, just a favorite. If you're a fan of Dumbles and classic boutique tones, you're definitely gonna love this amp. So yeah, we'll be diving into the specs of these two pieces of gear and how they combine. And we'll be talking furthermore on some of the other offerings that we have available. So let's start with the guitar. This Strat, like I said, it's a late 62 reissue, and with that comes a few perks that make it make it very special. So first of all, the Closet Classic aging level is one of my favorites because it's just very light, it's not overly done, and I think that it's a good starting point if you like natural wear on your guitar. So like this, as you can see, it's not too much. So if you actually play it, in no time you'll start to see some more real wear on the guitar. Well, it still looks good. The neck profile is probably my favorite thing. It's kind of like this late 62s profile that is kind of skinny, but it feels very tight, and it has a few modern appointments that to me just elevate the guitar to a whole nother level. One of those things is the radius, which is 9.5, and the fret job, which is just amazing. And it comes with really high frets too, which are the 6105s that just play really, really well. These are kind of like my favorite frets for any Fender guitar, really. And it sounds really good. It has like this big fat sound. Think of a Hendrixy, but without some of that sparkle. It's a very robust Strat sound, not as bright, which I love. And it pairs up beautifully with this amp. So the Tone Secret 1, it's based on the Dumble Overdrive Special, and it's one of the Rucks staples. They have been making this model for a while, but this is the latest revision that offers quite a few different variations as far as like the tone shaping controls that are on board for you to tweak the sound. And you can really tweak the sound of this amp. This model comes available in, well, either a combo or a head. In this case, we have chosen the 100-watt head that you can turn down to 50 watts on the back. And it's an amp that likes to breathe fire. It does both things really well, the clean and the dirty channel. I feel like most amps, they shine at doing one or the other. In this case, it does both really, really well. So let's talk about the layout. The first thing that you see here is the input that has an option of an FET boost that you can toggle via foot switch or through this little toggle right here. And what that does is a clean boost that it can give you either more volume or more gain depending on what channel you're in and your settings. And I love using this almost as like a solo boost, if anything. It works really well. In EQ2 and EQ1, it's almost like your classic jazz and rock setting that you might find in a Dumble. 3-band EQ, after that, treble, middle, bass. You also get a gain control over here. Then your classic Rucks bright, mid, and deep. Then you have a bypass switch that just bypasses the whole tone stack and basically puts all of your EQ on 10. It's a really good way of like getting a bit more volume and mid-range, great for solos as well. Then you have, well, your lead and clean channel, followed by your lead gain and lead master. You then have a master volume and a presence control. So the idea of having two masters here is that the general master volume controls the overall volume of the amp for both channels. However, with the lead master, you control the independent volume of the lead channel here. And then lead gain is a secondary gain channel that just allows you to stack, both the previous gain and the gain from the lead channel. And it just really gives you a wide palette of sounds. They both sound amazing. I feel like the overdrive of this amp is very creamy, very contained. I would say that my favorite thing about it is the way it feels when you're playing. And I think that's almost like what drew most of the first wave of players of Dumble that basically just wanted to have that overdrive sound. It's not so much a tone, it's also how it feels. I feel like it makes you play better because it has a level of compression that you can really hide behind it. And I say this in the best way possible. When you go to that lead channel, you have like this creamy, compressed distortion that somehow just feels very natural and rich, and it works really well. I feel like whether you're using single coils or humbuckers, it's a sound that just works really well. And well, when you go to the clean mode, it's just, well, the Dumble Rucks thing, just this beautiful, big, lush sound with tons of low end and sparkly highs. It's just an amazing sound. So if you like to tweak and really have kind of like the dual channel thing, this amp will do it really well. It does not come with any onboard effects, but it does have a 2 buffered effects loop in the back that allows you to control how bright it is, and the input and output gain, which is really neat if you want to run some of your wet effects through the back. And yeah, it's a wonderful amp. This one has been spec'd out in this standard black Tolex with this checkered Marshall-esque type of grill cloth here that looks really, really cool. Two-Rock offers a lot of different options as far as like customizations for the aesthetics, and this one looks really cool the way it is right now. And yeah, it pairs up beautifully with this guitar. So let's talk about that clean tone. It's a sound that is not compressed at all. It's super clean. So I feel like if you have a lot of dynamics in your playing, meaning that you like to dig in and then slow down a little bit and play softer just to get a wider palette of sounds, this amp will do that really well. It stays super clean. So I feel like, it's famous for its overdrive most of all, but the cleans are so underrated on this amplifier. It's a great pedal platform. Right now we're in EQ1, which tends to be the cleaner sound with a bit more bass. But if we switch it down to the EQ2, you're gonna notice that it gets a bit more bite and sounds tighter. So yeah, you can hear how there's a drastic difference in volume. And again, you might want to readjust here and there. But for example, in my case, I kind of like the jazz setting a little bit more, especially because I tend to play with humbuckers more often. And I feel like in that settings, you can really allow the amp to breathe a little bit more before it really starts to compress. But I find that it also works well with single coils. But yeah, definitely if you go to the EQ2, which is the most popular, I would say, you can notice how the amp just has like this whole different character that a lot of players love. Now let's check out the lead channel. So it's a very special sound. It's super dynamic too. It's weird because I feel like most amps that are this dynamic, they don't give you that spongy, squishy sound. But this one somehow it does. Like you can really clean it up by playing with your pick attack. But at the same time, if you start to solo, you get that nice sustain. I mean, there's a reason why these style of amps are so popular, and just because they have this magical thing that just works so well. And you have a lot more gain on tap. I feel like this is kind of like a mild overdrive, if anything. But if we push it with the FET boost, you're gonna hear how it really wants to breathe fire. yeah, I mean, as you can hear, you can cover so many sounds with this amplifier. And right now we're running the volume at a very modest setting, but again, at 100 watts, you can really crank it. And again, you can turn it down to 50 if you like to get a little bit of power distortion, although again, at 50 is also still pretty loud. We're not even tapping on the whole FX loop thing. You know, once you start running effects through the bag and messing around with all these sound combinations, you realize how much of a Swiss Army knife this amp really is. So you can do so much with this amplifier, whether you are a hard rock player, funk, blues, jazz, whatever you want, this amp can really do it. So if you have to have one amplifier, I think the TS1 is one of those that you just can't go wrong with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to check out this gear, the links are down below in the description. Check out our website, wildgraysvintage.com, so you can see all the amazing things that we have in store, from vintage guitars to cars, coffee, watches, and a lot more. And also, well, this massive collection of Fender custom shops and two rocks that we have now available. If you guys like this channel, give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and if you want more content like this, follow us on Instagram at @wildgraysvintage. My name is Sebastian. Until next time.